Elite Sports and Entertainment Network, Mr. Jay McLovin. Jay, say what's up to the people, man.
Hey, how's everybody doing out there? It is a wonderful day out here in Houston. It's nice. It's sunshiny.
Yeah.
So I'm in a good mood. I got plenty of vitamin D already.
Yeah. Good. It's been a little rainy here past couple of days, but a little gloomy, but we're getting through it though. But before we talk about these Falcons, what we're going to give them as our draft grade, if you guys be sure if you enjoy this episode, give us a like, follow, share, and subscribe on Facebook and YouTube, and also go and download our podcast every single week. Thanks to the Believe Podcast Network, available on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, etc. So go over there and check us out. All right, Jay. So as you guys saw, when the NFL draft first round went live, we did a whole reaction show on the channel. Also, me and Jay did a video on ESPN doing the entire teams and their thoughts on the draft. We had that just put up just not too long ago. So go and check that out over there. Link in the description. But now we're going to do a team-by-team breakdown here on 100 Yards of Football. We're talking about the hometown team, Jays. You know, I'm from Atlanta. I'm from Georgia. You lived in Georgia for quite some time. Our guy, Vincent Turner's from Georgia. We have a lot of connections here. So this is the team we see on TV every single week. The Atlanta Falcons and their draft grade. Let's just go round by round here, super quick. Obviously, round one, Michael Penix Jr. Shocker of the draft, number 8 overall. That's who they started off with. And the reaction on all of our faces, I think, was priceless. It was amazing.
I gave them a cross between I want to say I'm between a C- and a B. I'm still kind of on the fence with the Falcons a little bit on that stuff, man.
It's iffy.
I just can't quite get over the whole Michael Penix in the first round. I thought the best thing they did was in the 4th round. They picked defensive tackle Brandon Dorlus, that 6'3", 295 guy, like I was telling you on the other last draft show. I thought that was really their best pickup. Michael Penix, I just thought, that just was not – when you have a much need in an edge rusher and you're trading up to get a defensive tackle, and Rook the Nook was questionable in my opinion. So I didn't like the fact that they traded up to get Rook the Nuke. I thought that was questionable, but I did but I thought the worst pick though for those guys was Michael Penix in the first round, when they could have gotten a really nice edge rusher there, or even drafted, or they could have even traded back for an edge rusher.
There's the comparisons in recent years to Jordan Love. Obviously a guy who was taken in the first round, sat at the bench, but the difference though, Jay, is Jordan Love was taken not in the top 10. He was taken, I believe, 28, give or take, by Green Bay. This is a top 10 pick. And you're essentially wasting it in a sense, because this guy's not going to be your starter. That's for sure.
Right.
He doesn't find a multi-year deal, hundreds of millions of dollars, unless they felt like his Achilles is going to shatter any moment. I'm questioning this because Michael Penix is 24, I believe. Kirk Cousins' contract runs for a couple of seasons. So, Penix is going to be in his mid to late 20s by the time he might even see the field. Let's be real, Cousins is in his late 30s, so his play could decline maybe more rapid than we see, perhaps. So I guess Atlanta thought that, and don't get me wrong, I think that now they have one of the best quarterback rooms in the draft. Don't get it twisted. I think that having him as a backup is a solid option. A guy who we saw when healthy can really move the chains out there in Washington. So I like the fact that he's on your bench, but as a first-round talent, I want someone who can go out there and help me win a championship. That's what I want. I like the pick. I think in the long term of things, potentially in the next 5+ years, but in 2024 coming into it, I'm scratching my head. That's on the Michael Penix pick. Now, they went 2nd round, Rook Orororo, defensive tackle from Clemson. We did a player prospect look at him. We said Jay, he's got a lot of potential, right? 6'4", close to 300, kind of a mauler, but he's kind of unpolished in a sense. Like I said, he was 13 All ACC this past year. Played in 12 games, 25 tackles, also 5 sacks. So someone who I think could have a decent season year one, but I think what's really going to help Jay is the pieces around that team, the Grady Jarretts of the world, who can mentor him and help him out. I think that year one he could do some good things, but I think later, Caden Ellis as well. I think later in his career, maybe 2 to 3 years down the line, that's when we could really see this pick paying off. So I think, like I said, I think we placed him maybe a 3rd round grade, give or take. I can't remember off the top of my head. But Atlanta saw something, and that's why they went with him in their 2nd round. I think this might be their best pick, though. You mentioned Brandon Dorlus, but I'm going to go with Braylon Trice in the 3rd round.
Okay.
Outside linebacker. I thought he did a great job. First team All Pac-12 for Washington. Defensive Player of the Year for Washington as well. Team captain, 11.5 tackles for loss, 7 sacks, starting all games as well. That's something the Falcons needed, is getting to the quarterback, and that's what this guy brings. That's what Braylon Trice brings, is that mentality. 6'3", 245. And I think, like I mentioned Caden Ellis a moment ago, that could be a really good pairing, especially with how Ellis was last year before he went down with an injury. I think the Falcons are quietly building a really good defense out there in the middle of the field. And then Brandon Dorlus, as you said, defensive tackle, 4th round. First team All Pac-12, led the team with 5 sacks. I mean, they went with some guys, Jay, who are going to get to the quarterback. Am I right?
Right.
Yeah, I think that they really said, okay, we'll go with kind of a shocker pick in round 1, but the rest of these picks, we're going straight defense, as we just mentioned. You went with a defensive tackle, an outside linebacker, another defensive tackle, and then round 5, they went to Notre Dame and went J.D. Bertrand, right? A guy who this past year, 76 tackles. I mean, 6 foot 235. It's not going to blow you away, but he is a big guy, right? Finalist for the Werfel Trophy means he's a good guy. Off the field community award there. Also won the academic Heisman. Let's not get it twisted there. So doing some good work in the classroom. Smart dude. Played in 12 games, 7.5 tackles, 2.5 sacks. So I think that could be a pick who, obviously, when you get to later round picks, these guys aren't probably going to be starters per se, but are good guys you can throw there for schemes. So I think that was a solid pick. And then round 6 here, they got Jace McClellan, running back out of Alabama. We obviously know that he is not going to be a starter over Bijan Robinson, Tyler Algier. So he'll see a little bit of the field, certain schemes, if maybe third down back, perhaps. He ran for 890 yards this past year. And he caught 15 passes for 137 yards. So, I mean, it's a guy he'll crack the roster probably, maybe a later round, late addition to the 53. But I think that, overall, and then they also picked up some guys very late, Casey Washington out of Illinois, and also Zion Logue, the defensive tackle out of Georgia. Illinois, I think those guys, they might contribute a little bit, but I can see more of those guys being more practice squad members. But I think when you look at the Falcons as a whole, I would give them I'd give them a C+. I like the middle of the round drafts. I like those picks a lot, But the Michael Penix Jr. still scratching my head over for it, Jay, over a week later. And like I said, if personally, if I'm a GM, I go in the first round. And look, I know it's been done before. You draft a quarterback, you have him sit, you have him wait. But we're saying how it's going to play in 2024, not in 2027, not in 2028. At this moment in time, in 2024, I'll go C+, only because I like the middle round picks a lot. Late round picks are always a shot in the dark. You never know. But the Michael Penix Jr. pick, there's too many questions around it right now. There's still too much going on. And it feels like, and I've seen people kind of say this, it feels like they kind of picked them, Jay, to spite their rivals in the New Orleans Saints to need a quarterback after Derek Carr got all that money and has been, we'll say, middle of the road. So I've seen that theory thrown out as well. It's interesting, though. But what are your final thoughts, though, on these Falcons before we wrap this up here today?
Yeah, like I said, I think the Falcons did basically, a C+ is above average. So I would say they did above average in this draft. I don't think they did exceptional. I don't think they did horrible. I think they just did just slightly above average. So I think I'm going to lean your way too and go with that C+ for me as a final grade.
They kept their head above water, Jay. You know what they say? C's get degrees, and the Falcons, you get a C+. That's our thoughts on their 2024 selection. Want to hear your comments, though? Want to hear, though, on Facebook and YouTube? What would you give the Falcons? A, B, C, D, or F? We don't know. Obviously, no. Yeah. So are they going to pass? Are they going to fail? We want to hear from you on Facebook and on YouTube. As always, Jay McLovin, I appreciate you, my friend, coming on talking about the Falcons and the draft grade. I've been your host, producer, Logan Landers, guys.